She stood in the middle of the road, waving her clipboard like it was a weapon. "You can't be here. This whole street belongs to the HOA now." Her voice was sharp, echoing between the rows of identical wooden cabins. I just laughed under my breath. The cabins were neat, lined up perfectly like soldiers in formation, but there was only one problem. They were standing on my land. I pointed at the ground. "This is my property. Every nail, every cabin sitting here belongs to me." She smirked, acting like she didn't hear me, and shoved a bright red paper in my hand. "Official notice. You're trespassing." I looked at the paper. It wasn't even stamped, just some fake logo she had printed. My chest burned, but I stayed calm. "Funny thing," I said, holding back a grin, "because I already sold it all this morning." Her eyes widened, and the color drained from her face. "What?" "Yeah." I leaned closer, lowering my voice. "While you were busy pretending to be queen of this street, I signed the deal. Legally. Every cabin is sold. Not to you, not to your HOA, to real owners." Her hand shook as she gripped the clipboard tighter. You can't do that. These are our homes." I stepped back, looking her dead in the eye. "Too late. I told you, you built on the wrong land." Her jaw dropped, and for the first time, she had no words. That silence was the sweetest sound I'd heard in years. She didn't stay silent for long. Her scream cut through the street like a siren. "Cops! Somebody call the cops! This man is stealing our homes." Neighbors peeked out of their cabins, some clutching coffee mugs, others just frozen, confused. Within minutes, a black SUV pulled up, 2 men in uniforms stepping out. She ran to them like she had been waiting for this moment all her life. "Officers, arrest him! He's a criminal. He forged documents and sold our entire neighborhood." Her voice cracked with fake tears as she pointed at me. The so-called officers walked toward me slowly, hands on their belts. Something felt off. No badges flashed, no radios crackled, just cheap uniforms and an attitude. I smiled. "You sure you want to do this here?" One of them grunted. "Sir, you need to come with us." I raised my hands slightly, calm, steady. "Before you put your hands on me, you should know. I spent 10 years training law enforcement. Real law enforcement. And you two? You don't look like cops. You look like hired actors." Gasps erupted from the neighbors. Karen froze, her fake confidence slipping. "Don't listen to him," she shrieked. "He's lying. Take him away." I slowly pulled out a folder from my jacket. The official deed, signed, sealed, and notarized. I held it up high. "This is my land. Every house here sits on my property. And I just sold it. Fair and legal." The 2 fake cops exchanged nervous glances. I caught the twitch in their hands, the way sweat beaded at their necks. They weren't ready for this. And neither was she. Her face turned red. "This isn't over," she spat. But the crowd was already murmuring, doubt spreading like wildfire. She stormed back toward the cabins, muttering under her breath, and then suddenly spun around. "Fine. If the cops won't do their job, I'll do it myself." She yanked a heavy chain from the back of her car and marched straight toward my truck, looping it around the tires like she was about to tow it away. The crowd gasped. "You can't touch my vehicle," I warned, my voice low but steady. "Oh, I can," she sneered, yanking the chain tight. "Your truck is parked on HOA property, and that makes it mine." I stepped forward, but before I could say another word, a boy's voice rang out from the porch of one of the cabins. "Mom, stop! He's telling the truth." Everyone froze. Her own teenage son stood there, clutching a stack of papers. His hands trembled, but his voice was clear. I found the files on your laptop. You knew this wasn't HOA land. You lied. The silence that followed was heavy, broken only by her sharp inhale. Go inside, she barked. But the damage was done. The neighbors shifted uneasily, their eyes darting between her, the boy, and me. Trust was cracking, and she could feel it slipping through her fingers. I raised the deed again, steady as stone. I told you, this land is mine, and now everyone knows it. Her face twisted with rage, but behind her eyes, there was fear. She wasn't in control anymore, and she knew it. She let out a bitter laugh, the kind that made the hair on the back of your neck stand up. You think you've won? She hissed, yanking out her phone. Watch this. Her fingers flew across the screen. And within minutes, a tow truck rumbled up the gravel road. The driver leaned out the window. Which vehicle, ma'am? She pointed straight at my truck. That one. Take it. I stepped in front of it, arms crossed. You touch this truck, and you're breaking the law. This is private property, not HOA grounds. The driver hesitated. I just do what I'm told. Then you better check who's really in charge here, I cut in, pulling out my wallet. I flipped it open, and the golden badge caught the sunlight. A wave of gasps ran through the crowd. County Sheriff, I said calmly, and this is an official warning. That truck doesn't move an inch. Karen's jaw dropped. You're lying, she shrieked, but her voice cracked. The driver swallowed hard, threw his truck into reverse, and sped away without another word. The neighbors erupted in whispers, some pulling out their phones, recording every second. Karen's mask was falling apart in front of everyone. She gripped her clipboard so tight it bent in half. You don't scare me, she said, though her eyes darted, searching for a way out. I leaned closer, lowering my voice so only she could hear. You should be scared, because I haven't even started yet. That night, I thought it was over. But at dawn, pounding on my cabin door shook me awake. When I opened it, 2 real officers stood there, hands on their belts, serious as stone. Behind them, Karen smirked with her arms crossed. Sir, one officer said firmly, we have a report that you're squatting on HOA property. Step outside. The neighbors had gathered again, whispering in confusion. I looked at the officers, calm but burning inside. Squatting? On my own land? Karen shoved forward, waving another paper. See, I filed the complaint. He forged documents, sold our homes illegally, and now he's hiding here like a criminal. Arrest him. The officers studied the paper, flipping it back and forth. I could tell it wasn't official, but she had confidence dripping off her voice, acting like she already won. One officer frowned at me. If this checks out, we'll have to tow your vehicle and lock this cabin until it's resolved. My chest tightened. They weren't just threatening me. They were threatening my home, my only place. I could hear Karen laughing softly under her breath. Told you, she whispered. This street belongs to me. For a second, it felt like the ground was slipping out from under me. Neighbors shook their heads, some looking away, scared to get involved. The injustice was real, right in front of everyone. But I stayed still, my hand resting on the deed in my jacket. I wasn't done, not even close.